Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and you're going to be wicked offended by my attempts at a Boston accent today. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my wicked piss-off friend.
See, your accent's really good, and mine sounds terrible when I do it. It's like, I can only say wicked. It's like, I'm wicked hungry, wicked drunk, wicked, I got nothing. Nothing. I'm stuck at this. We're talking about 2006's The Departed, which we were inspired by this week's What a Creep, because we talked about Whitey Bulger, and he's kind of the basis for the Jack Nicholson character in this movie. So we're just all Boston all the time this week. This movie is directed by Martin Scorsese. It's based on another movie called Internal Affairs, which I never saw. Did you see?
Is that the one with Richard Gere?
So I was like, that's what I saw when I saw it was based on another movie. I was like, wait, not that one from like 90 with Richard Gere. No, it's like a Hong Kong drama that came out.
That makes sense. That does make sense, though, because we have a Chinese gang in this movie. And
So-
the Whitey Bulger that Jack Nicholson plays, it's like everything's the opposite of the real Whitey Bulger. But we'll get into it.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. And then it stars Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Marky Mark, also known as Mark Wahlberg, but I call him Marky Mark. Martin Sheen. How much do we love Martin Sheen?
So much that,
much.
spoiler, when he's gone, it's like it's a punch in the gut.
Totally a punch. Oh my gosh, we're going to talk about that later too. And then Ray Winstone. I'm going to mispronounce her name. Vera
Farmiga.
I love her in this. She's really great. Alec Baldwin, Anthony Anderson, and Kevin Corrigan.
Yes.
It's always kind of a treat when he shows up. He's a very interesting actor. Did you see this movie in the theater?
I for sure did, and I super loved it. I was on the edge of my seat, and I thought it was great. I've only seen it a couple of times since then, and I have thoughts. Mostly good, but I do have some questions.
I saw this movie in the theater and was totally blown away by it. I remember I saw it. I was still working at the newspaper. I saw it. I came into work the next day and I said, this is the best movie I've seen in like 5 years. Like, I super fucking loved it, but not enough to ever revisit it. It was like I was almost
right.
I was afraid that like I would revisit it and it would like ruin it for me and I wouldn't like it as much. And then I'd feel stupid that I liked it or something like that. So I didn't go back to it. So it was really good to rewatch it though. And I mean, I think it's really good, but it has, there's things in it now where I was like, well, I don't like that. Or there's a lot of blank happening that I don't really love or, things like that. But I still think the movie's really tense. And I think the performances are really, really great. So I still really liked watching it. It was a good one.
It's very watchable.
Super watchable.
And it's like for a long movie, it just moves at a very fast clip. There's always something going on.
Yeah.
And the performances are excellent all the way around. And it has some surprising, like fakes and turns and things like that. So I super loved it. I watched it last night for the first time in at least 10 years, if not more. And then I just watched it again today and I still like it, but I'm like, was this 2006 or was this 1996? Because the use of the flip phone, which I get it. That was what we were using.
Yeah.
But it's like, ooh, that feels so dated.
It is like right before the iPhone.
Yeah.
It's like right before like Blackberries and all that stuff. So like,
yes,
it's the first movie I remember having like a cell phone is like a major plot point.
And it seemed really contemporary at the time. And then there's a thing where Martin Sheen's like microprocessors. They say micro. I'm like, wow, really? That was like what they were flipping on? It was,
That's the MacGuffin of this movie.
That's the MacGuffin of the story. Exactly.
Yeah.
I still think like Mark Wahlberg, and we'll talk about his background.
Yeah.
he's my favorite performance. I think he's such an asshole,
Yeah.
but he's like acting and not acting at the same time. Like,
Right.
he would talk this way.
He has all the best lines.
He
for sure.
He's funny as shit.
Yeah.
He's vulgar.
Yeah.
Not that bright, but quick.
He's a real dick. He's
an asshole.
Yeah, he's a huge
asshole. Total Southie asshole, and just always combative. And he beats out like Alec Baldwin and all these other people. Like, he wipes the floor with them.
Yeah,
because his character is so obnoxious, and he does it so brilliantly. I was very happy when I saw that he was nominated for an Academy Award, because he fucking deserves it.
I thought that was so interesting that he's the only performance nominated, because
for an Academy Award.
Yeah, for Academy Award, because I think everyone in this movie is super fucking good all the way around. Like, I mean, Jack Nicholson's doing kind of his Jack Nicholson thing, right?
Yeah.
This part is like Jack Nicholson adjacent. He's kind of Joker-esque, you know.
A little Jack Torrance.
Yeah.
A little Witches of Eastwick.
And that's, I mean, honestly, that's kind of why you hire a Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Like, that's, especially at this point in his career, like, that's what he does. But, like, Matt Damon's super fucking good. Leonardo DiCaprio is, like, off the charts amazing in this movie to me. I think they're all really great. So I was kind of surprised that he's the only one. I read that Leonardo DiCaprio didn't want to campaign against his co-stars for nominations in the movie. That's why he's not nominated.
Well, that's why they made a big deal when he finally won an Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people win an Oscar after 4 or 5 like amazing performances, and then they just give them one year. I mean, and it's not that he wasn't good in that movie. I can't remember the name of it, but in here,
the like, Revenant.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
It's not great. It's not great. In here, it's like he says he's having a panic attack 24/7. It is very visceral, because I've had panic attacks.
Yeah.
What he's doing is exactly what you do when you have a panic attack.
It's an awful feeling.
It's terrible. It's like your heart is leaping out of your skin.
Yeah.
It's so upsetting. You can't calm your mind down. And it's like he's like that all the time.
And he looks it.
He does look it. And he has he's so expressive and physical.
Yeah.
And it's a great, great part for him. The problem for me with this movie, and it was back then too, but it really stuck out to me now, was the women in the movie. And Vera Farmiga's character, I love her. I think her character does everything wrong in every scene that she's in. And I've had friends that were beautiful and smart and made the dumbest choices. So it's not like that's out of line.
Right.
But it's very frustrating to watch.
Yeah, I could see that. I really liked her in the movie. She makes bad choices, like
all the time.
Like, by the way, like we all would, like you said, like we've all made shitty choices. So
we've all been there, and we've all had a friend that you're like, what are you doing? You are such a catch. You know, why were you? And she does it, but it's like she does it professionally and personally.
Yeah.
Like, she moves with Matt Damon, like, what, 4 months of dating?
Yeah. There's
what? And I love Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Trust me.
He's really good. He always plays like a pretty good guy. Maybe not talented Mr. Ripley, but you know, in general, Matt Damon plays a good guy, I think. So to see him play someone who's so corrupt, and he's playing like a criminal who's pretending to be a cop, and then Leonardo's a cop who's pretending to be a criminal. And so I think their performances are really like two sides of the same coin. But I think, and they're both really great. I just think Leonardo DiCaprio's is just a little bit more extra, maybe because he's having a panic attack through the whole thing.
And he's acting, I mean, it's the showier part.
Yeah.
But I there's a lot that like got to me. You know, we were just talking about what a creep, and we were talking about Whitey Bulger, and my brother lived in Quincy for many, many years, which is just outside of Boston. And I've been up, you know, taking care of family stuff up there. And there's this culture that exists in New England, and especially in Boston, that's so rich and interesting. And I'm saying this as a white Irish American. I mean, to me, that's like my homeland, the mothership or whatever, whatever you want to call it. But it's and they shot most of it in New York, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't know
looking that
that.
up. Yeah, they only shot a little bit in Boston, but what they get is Anthony Anderson's in this movie. There's like certain people like, oh my God,
Yeah, just when
he's in this.
when they show up, you're like, oh, what a treat.
This is a treat. This is a treat, and
Yeah.
it's great. But I mean, they played "Gimme Shelter" twice.
Okay, I
He's
wrote in
gotta
my
let go of
notes.
that song.
I wrote in my notes, how many times has Scorsese opened a movie with "Gimme Shelter"? And I said, is it all of them, including Age of Innocence? Maybe it is. No. So then I looked it up, and it was the third time.
Yeah, Casino and Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
I
he
get
played
it. It's
twice in this movie.
It's a good
It's a great
song.
It's a great song, but ugh.
You could pick a different song. Or maybe that's his thing. Maybe he's trying to like tie his movies together with that. I don't know.
No, I think he likes certain songs.
Yeah.
And he'll make a scene around it. And there's a couple of times. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
There's a couple of times where he used songs where I'm like, I like this song too, but it makes no sense right now.
Yeah.
And then it just sounds like a music video with images that don't match the mood.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the song should enhance the mood or just be an ironic,
right.
And it's not. It's like, I think it's just like, I like that song by the Human Beings. So we got to have no, which is a boppy pop song from 1962. Mm-hmm. And he's like beating the shit out of these guys in 2006. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's weird. Mm-hmm. But I wrote in my notes, it's always a pleasure to watch a movie by Scorsese in the same way that it's always a pleasure to watch a movie by Tarantino, because they super love movies. So you're watching movies made by people who super love movies. So even when they're not my favorite movie, they're good, they're entertaining, they're interesting. If he wants to use "Gimme Shelter" all the time, it's fine. That's fine. But he could mix it up.
He could mix it up, and I sound like I'm complaining. I really find this movie super enjoyable. It's really fun. It's just sometimes there's smart people making really dumb choices, but that's life. People do. So
let me
there you go.
Throw this little theory out here. I was dorking out about the movie, hence the title of this podcast. And I was reading some stuff last night, and there is all this speculation that Matt Damon's character, Colin, is gay. Have you ever heard this theory before?
I think it's obvious, and I can't believe I didn't think of it before.
Because he's so, like, his whole
homophobic.
Thing. Yeah, he's so homophobic. He throws it around all the time. I wrote in my notes, like, how he's just, like, grossly eye-fucking every woman in his office, but he's not really. He's doing it so that other dudes in the office will see him doing it.
You know what? That's blowing my mind. He's totally gay or bisexual.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, because he's impotent. He's impotent, right? Like there's a whole thing like it happens to all the guys all the time.
Yeah.
Like, don't have that conversation.
It's so awkward.
It's so awkward. But yeah, you're right. I think that is part of it.
When I read that article, I was like, holy shit. I hadn't even thought of it, to be honest. Well, and then once I read that article, I was like, oh my God. This makes sense, because he lies to himself he's lying to himself about everything. Why not this too?
Oh my God, you're blowing my mind. You're right though.
Well, someone else blew my mind. I can't even take credit. But
no, but it's like from the first scene. So here he's there's a scrimmage with like police guys against firemen.
Yeah.
And I guess it's soon after 9/11, because like the firemen are like, I remember that. I lived in New York when 9/11 happened. Like the firemen were our heroes for years, and they still are. By the way, but yeah, it was a big deal. And so he's you're all the F word and homos and over and over and over again. I'm like, what is that all about? But now I'm like, oh, it makes sense.
Yeah, and
he's in the closet
when he goes to get an apartment, and the guy asks him like, "Oh, you have a lot of guests over." Apparently that's supposed to be like a code for like he has partners. And that's why he gets so defensive and is like, just give me the fucking papers, and like signs them. And all. By the way, there's my terrible Boston accent.
No, don't apologize.
Yeah,
Don't apologize. It's a tough accent.
And that's why he acts like that.
That makes sense. I totally believe it.
Is really interesting. So it kind of makes me want to go back and watch it again with that kind of eye to that performance. And I wonder if Matt Damon was also intentionally doing that, or is this author just reading a lot of stuff into it? But I like that you can explore it that way if you want to. I think that's cool.
I love it.
I also wanted to mention something about Marky Mark, aka Mark Wahlberg. I think he's playing the part that Alec Baldwin would have played in the 90s. Like Alec Baldwin in like Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah, but I think he's better. He's much better. I think because here's the thing with Mark Wahlberg, and it's true. He has a criminal past.
Yeah.
And not like, oh, he robbed a store or something. Like when he was a kid, and there was a lot of racism in Boston forever. But when he was very young as a teenager, he was with a great group of kids, and they would throw rocks at black kids and use the N-word. And then he got in a fight with an Asian dude, and that's why he wound up is it juvenile hall or prison? He was like, I think he was 18, but he did serve some time. Now, there is the path to redemption.
Absolutely.
He doesn't do that now. And it's 30 plus years. And he's married. He has several kids. He's Catholic. He seems like a all around nice guy, but there is that part of him that I think that's there that he grew up with. He grew up in a rough neighborhood. That's much more authentic than Alec Baldwin, who's from Long Island. And I'm from Long Island, by the way. Like, I'm not shitting on Long Island, but there is a certain gravitas you have.
Sure.
If you're from South Boston, like, you are the baddest ass.
I do love how all the characters talk to each other, though, because everything is like, get the fuck out of here. Nah, fuck you. Go fuck your mother. I finished fucking your mother. Fucking fuck. Hey,
you cocksucker. I mean, there's a lot of that throwing
we swear
around.
on the show, FYI.
You should play, cover your ears. But you always wonder when men use that all the time. Are you really homophobic, or are you in the closet and you're just trying to... Yeah.
There's so much toxic masculinity. Thank you. Sorry, I am drinking a beer, so things are going to get slurry. But there's so much of that in this movie.
Yeah, and Jack Nicholson. I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
Whitey Bulger and Steve Lemmy, they were the original gangsters in Boston, which I didn't mention in What a Creep, by the way, is that they were both accused of pedophilia and basically grooming younger women to be their girlfriends later. And you see that with Jack Nicholson in this movie. He's flirting with a teenage girl, and then 10, 20 years later, whatever it is, she's now his companion.
Yeah.
Her lines are so bad as an adult when she's like, nobody knew what to do. Like, she's just kind of drunk or high all the time.
Yeah. I don't
like it.
It's a weird part. I mean, it's not the actress's fault. Like,
no,
I think
hers at all.
They could have given her something more to do.
And to say.
Yeah. Other than like, let me straighten you out.
Yeah.
It's like.
Because he has a scene where he's confronting a priest. And I don't know if we had the Catholic scandal yet or not. But his character is confronting priests in a diner about pedophilia.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what did you do? Like, so is it learned behavior? Is it whatever? But that's sort of this undercurrent story that they don't really explore.
Yeah. But it's there. Apparently there was talk of making some sort of sequel where they explored some of the other elements of this story. I don't think this movie needs a sequel, but
no.
First of all, like, everybody's dead.
Spoilers.
Everybody dies practically. But I mean, they could make a movie talking about those things, or maybe they have, and it's what's the movie that just came out like 5 years ago about the paper that Spotlight. Yeah, there you go. Spotlight. There you go. It's a prequel.
What about a prequel?
There. They could do a prequel.
A prequel would be interesting.
Yeah, but
I mean, it'd probably be better than Black Mass.
Oh my God. I didn't even get through Black Mass.
Yeah.
I think I maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and I was like, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
It's not for me. Maybe I'm not in the right frame of mind. How much do you love the accents in this movie?
I love a New England accent, period.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something special about Boston that's just like, as a New Yorker, I just kind of sit back in awe. There's something about dropping the R's and everything, and it's aggressive and friendly at the same time. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. And I just, like I said, I love the way they talk to each other. And I do think Marky Mark has all the best lines. Like, there was one I wrote down that I super loved. It was like, I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy. Like, he's such a smart ass.
He's fearless, and he's giving these lines to like Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, and Martin Sheen is sitting right next to him. No, schlump there.
Yeah.
And he's just like holding his own, then some.
And
it's perfect for him.
I think that Marky Mark, I'm sorry, Mark Wahlberg.
That's okay.
I just like to call him Marky Mark. I'm sorry. And, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. They'd be so disappointed in how he talks sometimes. They would judge him. But I think, he did like Boogie Nights, and he's amazing in Boogie Nights. I love Boogie Nights. It's a great, great, great movie. And he did. I really liked the movie Rockstar. I thought he was really good in that.
Oh, I hate that movie.
I liked it.
No.
Oh, I thought it was fun. I wasn't like, it's my favorite. My sister, by the way, loves that movie. Loves it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll take it back.
No, you're allowed to not like things. It's totally fine. I'm fascinated that you hate it so much, though.
Oh, because I was really into rock in the 80s, and they get everything wrong.
Oh, see? I'm not watching it from that point of view.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun movie, and I thought he was good in it. But then, then he starts doing, like, Transformers movies, and then it's like, I'm a little less interested. This is when Mark Wahlberg was still doing, like, kind of interesting stuff.
He and his brother Donnie did some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
They had like smaller parts and things, but if you're going to get a guy who's a smart ass policeman in Boston, who else? Who would be more authentic?
True.
And he looks like he's having so much fun doing it too.
He is.
Like he's just putting everybody in their place. And I just, you're right. Like Alec Baldwin, that would have been his part 10 years before.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And we have to talk about Martin Sheen.
Wow. So
I fucking love Martin Sheen. I just
Grace
love him.
And Frankie. Have you started watching that yet?
No, not yet.
You got to watch Grace and Frankie. He's great in that, but he's great in everything he does. He never half-asses it. Like he's always good in what he's doing, and I love him. The whole scene with him, and so do we even talk about the plot?
No, we really haven't.
Wow. We really haven't.
No, we're like 23 minutes in, and we haven't even talked about the plot. That's hilarious.
Okay, let me get my glasses on so I could read the characters. Okay, so Billy is Leonardo DiCaprio, and he comes from a rough background, and and then Matt Damon, Colin. They both graduate from police school or whatever it is, and then Billy decides he's going to go undercover to help the state take down Jack Nicholson's character, Costello. And Matt Damon is going to go the route of working for the state police and also take down Costello. But Matt Damon's character, Colin Sullivan, is taking money from Costello. So he's a rat for Costello. And Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be a rat for the police. But there's also, who's the FBI rat? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, there's another person floating around in there.
And it's a big thing because when we were talking about Whitey Bulger, like a big thing for Whitey Bulger was that he said he was never a rat. He was not a snitch. He would never rat somebody out. And he was doing it for 20 plus years, which is why he wasn't arrested for a good 25 years in his life.
Yeah, it's always the biggest hypocrite. The people who scream the loudest are usually guilty. of it.
And so Martin Sheen is Queenan, and he's a good guy. And so Leonardo DiCaprio is undercover for him. And then Matt Damon works with him, but he doesn't realize Matt Damon is bad and is a rat. So Billy and so who does Marky Mark play? Oh,
Sean
Diggum.
Yeah.
So Sean and let me think. Sean and Queenan, they both hate Matt Damon and the Leonardo DiCaprio characters just because they're, well, especially Sean, but he hates them because they're young and they're whatever. But Leonardo DiCaprio is trying to bring this all together. He doesn't realize that Matt Damon is a snitch for Jack Nicholson.
They know someone in the department is.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it doesn't even, Colin isn't the person they even, like, they put him in charge of the investigations. Like, they trust him implicitly from the get-go.
Right. Because he radiates this confidence and this, white man superiority, like everything I do is great. Yeah. That's all that is. And Leonardo DiCaprio is more like, I'm poor, my family's poor, I come from nothing, I don't really deserve anything. And so he's willing to work harder for what he wants in his life. So he's willing to go into, and by the way, that means going to jail.
Yeah. That's some serious dedication right there.
Yeah.
They basically strip him of his identity, charge him with a crime, and send him to jail so that when he gets out, like, it looks legit.
And then he starts working for Jack Nicholson, and all this stuff is going on. And everybody's keeping in touch with flip phones.
Yeah.
Which I'm sorry, I'm giggling because it's like, of course, it's 15 years ago. It's a long time ago, but nowadays it's like, wow, his phone is like vibrating and glowing in his pocket. Why isn't everybody looking right now?
I'm like, how come they don't hear the like, dude?
They never hear it. I hear it all the time.
Do you know how hard it was to send a text message on a flip phone? You had to like, if you wanted to do like be right back or be right there, you have to like hit the one like twice, B.
Yes.
And then the next one like 3 times, right? Whatever. It was a pain in the ass.
It was, and that's why when people write like BRB and LOL and shit like that, like a lot of that comes from that because it's just like, I can't even write this shit
That's why
out.
the movie's so long, Margo, because they had to sit there and go, dude. It's like 2 hours of that.
Yeah, well, so that's also 2 hours of Jack Nicholson. So he has a confrontation with those priests at a diner at one point. He has a confrontation with a Chinese gang at some point. And it's like all these confrontations and it's just ratcheting up the tension. And it's between, and then Matt Damon. Okay. So we should say, by the way, that Vera Farmiga, Madeline, is a therapist.
Yeah.
For the police. And I would love for my sister to see this movie because my sister's a therapist. I think it would make her mind explode. Like this woman like does everything differently, I think, than she should.
Yeah.
On every level?
Yeah. First of all, she immediately starts dating a cop, which probably isn't the right call, but totally falls in line with the theory that Colin is gay. Of course he needs to date someone who's in the building so that all the dudes can see that he's dating.
Well, he flirts with her in the elevator too, like really hardcore.
Yeah. Very aggressive.
Very aggressive.
But she's also counseling recent like parolees. So she is also counseling Billy, the Leonardo DiCaprio character. And he's pretty quick to bully her into a prescription for Ativan, which I get. Ativan's rad. I love to take Ativan. But
when I'm having a panic attack, yeah.
Ativan's my jam. I have really bad panic attacks and I carry Ativan with me everywhere. It's awesome. I love it. But like she's pretty quick to like she gives him like 2 pills and he's like, fuck you with your fucking 2 pills, fuck off, and like throws it in her face and leaves. And then she's like, fine, here's your prescription and here's my card and I'm not helping you anymore or whatever. But then she like goes to coffee with him and basically starts dating him.
Like, she's seeing the both of them. So she's like living with Matt Damon, but he's impotent, but she also likes Leonardo DiCaprio, but he's a total mess. It's like, but they're both so handsome. I get it with her, girl. I get it. Like,
which one would you choose? Which one would you choose?
Probably, geez. Okay, I've actually met Matt Damon.
Mm-hmm.
He is so goddamn charismatic. Like when he smiles,
yeah, I could see it.
It's like you're living in a cartoon world. It's just like, oh my God. And I think Leonardo DiCaprio would think I'm so fucking old. I mean, he wouldn't look twice at me. Like,
dude, you made me laugh so hard my headphones flew off. He's like, we're too old for Leonardo DiCaprio.
But pretending we were, he's nice and tall.
Yeah.
I like tall, but Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Even though he's gay and impotent, like, and how much are they paying a rent for that place? Because it looks expensive.
Yeah. I have to say, though, Leonardo DiCaprio also said that he liked that she didn't have cats. And I was like, well, Margo wouldn't pick Leo at all then. Like, that's a deal breaker right there. So it's got to be Matt Damon. I'm like, I don't know. I'd go for Martin Sheen.
I absolutely and positively didn't even say that as an option. Yes. But there's a scene where Leonardo DiCaprio is talking to Martin Sheen on their flip phones on the subway. I call bullshit there. Like, you can barely do it now, much less. But Martin Sheen just strides right on the subway, the train, like, I'm just going to meet my contact.
Yeah.
Never looks over his shoulder. I'm like, really, dude? So he's being tailed, as we say in the parlance of cops. And he is being followed with Leonardo DiCaprio. And this scene always fucking upsets me. But they go to this building. Martin Sheen, he thinks they're going to shoot at him, but they don't. They throw. It's really gross. But it's Martin Scorsese. He loves gross shit. They throw him out a window off a building. It's
so upsetting because, first of all, they do everything to let you know that Martin Sheen's character is a good man. Like, he's a good guy. He's like, he's married. He's got kids. He really cares about Billy. He wants to help him. He really does. And but he really wants to catch this bad guy too. And then to watch like these men go at him like wild animals, like they surround him like a prey. And like he's totally overwhelmed by them, and then they throw him off the building. It made me cry in the theater, and it got me very upset last night. I was like, "That's not fair. It's not fair." But because it isn't.
Yeah, it's not. And then then Leonardo DiCaprio, so he has this blood and everything that's on him.
It's awful
because it happens right the fuck in front of him, and then he has to act like, "No, it's okay, it's okay." And then he meets up with them, and So spoilers. Leonardo gets killed.
And what the fuck? Like, it's done in the most like matter of fact, not dramatic way. Like, it's just, there you go. That happened. I'm like, damn, I totally forgot about that until the rewatch. No big Oscar nominated death scene for you, Leo.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson gets one though.
Yeah, well, you think he's going to do it without one?
Nah,
no.
He wouldn't sign up for the movie.
Fuck no, I get it. I'm Jack Nicholson. No.
Yeah.
So here's the controversial part for a lot of people is they keep talking about rats and don't be a rat and I'm not a rat or you a rat, blah, 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 blah. And I still love this because Matt Damon is coming home. He got away with everything. Whatever. And he comes home and Marky Mark, I have to say it too. I can't even say it. Mark Wahlberg. But he's got like the booties over his shoes and his clothes and everything. He's like all covered up and he shoots Matt Damon point blank and then just walks out because he knew Matt Damon was the rat.
Yeah.
And he's pissed because he killed Martin Sheen. That's his buddy. Like, I get it. It's very satisfying.
It's super satisfying.
It is. It really is. And then Martin Scorsese does this thing. He films a rat that's on what is it on the, what am I saying?
He's on the balcony.
Windows, on the balcony. Thank you. There's a rat. And it's like, really? You had to like really put a button on it? Like you wouldn't understand. what's going on here.
Yeah.
But this is not a movie about delicate scenes and right. This is all in your face.
I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Like,
yeah.
But I know that like some people were like, it's too on the nose, and they were super annoyed. And it's like, well, this is the decision he made, and it's fine. I mean, the rat base, it almost like stands up and is like, get it? I'm a rat. Get it? But
they're all rats. Get it? Like, okay.
But it's still really good. There's before the movie ends too, we also get a scene where Colin and Billy have like a standoff and a fight, and it is really cool. It feels good to watch Billy just kick his ass.
Yeah.
Because he really fucking deserves it.
Totally.
Yeah, and there's some parts where I was confused at the end because like at some point Billy shows up. Billy and Madeline have hooked up at this point. And he shows up at her apartment and gives her like an envelope. And he's like, open this if anything happens to me, or, if I call you and tell you to open it or whatever. I don't know. Did he maybe write everything down and it's his story? We never really get what's in that envelope. Then he also like mails some shit to Colin, like tapes. It turns out that Jack Nicholson's character recorded everything. So there's all these tapes of Colin and Frank like doing bad guy shit. And Madeline, the doctor, listens to it all and is like, you're a liar, fuck you, and leaves. She's also pregnant, obviously with Billy's baby because Colin can't close the deal. So, but apparently Colin doesn't know how pregnancy works because he just assumes the baby's his. But there's like no follow up with that. Really,
her character is kind of a mess. She's there to create some kind of tension between the two men, but they like I said, every decision she makes is a poor one.
Yeah, because then
it's just
Colin like erases Billy's identity from the computer. He kills him because he knows the truth. Well, the truth is Madeline also knows the truth. She's heard the tapes. So where are the tapes? I don't know. Why is Madeline not in danger? Because she's heard it. She could just go to the cops and say, I've heard these tapes. These tapes exist. I have this letter. Like all these things. Like nothing ever comes of it.
Is it because she's a psychiatrist she can't?
But he wasn't her patient anymore.
Right, and they're all dead by this point.
Right? So that part,
you're right. That's a plot hole.
Yeah, like,
there's a lot of messiness with her character.
And honestly, like I probably could go online and like look it up, but I shouldn't have to.
No, that's the point.
It should tie together and work. Does it ruin the movie for me? Not at all. Does it ruin the movie for me that she's saying she's pregnant with a boy when she still has a flat stomach and that's not how pregnancy works? No, it doesn't. It's fine. It's fine. Like, that's movie pregnancy for you. It's totally fine. I still think the movie is super, super tense, and just because of the performances alone, I think it's definitely worth it. And I actually do want to go back and rewatch it with this theory about Sullivan.
I'm like halfway through the second watch of the last couple of days, so now I'm going to have that in my head.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting.
Blow my mind.
There's the other scene too in this article where they talk about where he's meeting with Alec Baldwin at the golf range. And he's like, it's good that, you're getting married because then, people won't think you're a homo and you seem stable and all this stuff. And then they know that your cock works. And then Colin's like, yeah, it's working overtime. Like he like overly like compensates.
Oh God, I missed that. Okay, I've got to watch it again.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's like totally, it's so obvious. When I read the article, I was like, I feel dumb that I didn't get it. But you're not looking for that. It's just, it was really funny.
It's like Top Gun.
Yeah.
There's so many homosexual references in there that were snuck in by somebody brilliant.
Yes.
And none of us caught it then. Well, I didn't watch it back then, but I could see like, oh yeah, that's a total gay metaphor right there.
It is. It's really interesting. So if y'all have seen The Departed before, keep that in your mind and rewatch it. I think you're in for a real interesting rewatch.
And you're going to hear Gimme Shelter twice.
So The Departed was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. And I went and looked up what it, and it won. It won Best Picture. It finally won, like, Martin Scorsese. It's like his very long overdue, like, directing Oscar. And I went to look up the other movies that were nominated, because I think sometimes The Departed is thrown out as like a movie that shouldn't have won. And I'm like, I don't know, man. You should see the other ones nominated, because the other ones are Babel.
I don't even know that.
That's the one with like all the like different stories, and Brad Pitt's one of the stories, and it was like another Crash.
Nope.
Okay, Letters from Iwo Jima.
That's a good movie.
I have never seen it, actually.
It's really good. Clint Eastwood. It's really good.
Little Miss Sunshine.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's got a couple of great scenes,
Right.
but way overpraised.
Yeah, and then The Queen.
Eh.
I'm like, yes. So the Departed winning makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, totally. It's way more entertaining than all those movies
And
put
then
together.
nobody from the cast was nominated except for Mark Wahlberg, but he didn't win. He lost to Alan Arkin from Little Miss Sunshine.
Well, I like Alan Arkin, so
I do too. But there were some other really good performances that year. One was Eddie Murphy in Dreamgirls. He was really good.
He was pissed when he didn't win. He apparently walked out of the theater. Yeah.
He was really good in that movie. And then the other one I thought was really good is Jack Earl Haley was in this movie called Little Children.
Jackie Earl Haley, he's the best.
Yeah,
he's so good.
He was really creepy in that movie. He was
Super
really
creepy.
really good. But yeah, so Mark Wahlberg didn't win either, but it did win Best Picture. It won Best Director. It won Adapted Screenplay. Also nominated, by the way, for Adapted Screenplay, Borat.
What is that adapted from?
I know it says based on characters created by Sacha Baron. So I guess it's probably from from the Ali G show, right?
Well, because I bet there was no script. I bet it was just all because it's all improvised.
Well, see, I would think, isn't that original then? I don't know, but I just was fascinated that it was in there. But also in that category was Children of Men, and that was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Little Children, and then something called Notes on a Scandal. I didn't see that.
I didn't see it either. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, but like Nicholson's not nominated, DiCaprio's not nominated, Matt Damon's not nominated. Like, I think that's very
That's a shame. They should all be nominated.
Like everybody should be nominated. It's because everyone in it's really great. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm like, what other notes did I put in here? Apparently, Martin Scorsese wanted Al Pacino for the role of Costello, Frank Costello.
He would have been good.
He would have been good too. Let's see. Other than Vera, what's her face?
Farmiga.
They also wanted. He talked to Kate Winslet.
No.
Emily Blunt. Like Emily Blunt, maybe. I think she would have been too young, right?
Yeah, way too young.
Hilary Swank.
What?
Yeah, and then this is the one where I was like, Jennifer Aniston.
No.
Here's the thing. Jennifer Aniston is very likable. Let me just say that right off the bat.
And watchable.
I'm not shitting on Jennifer Aniston. I just don't think she's a movie star.
She's a great TV star.
She is.
There's an Apple TV show that I'm blanking. The Morning Show?
Yeah,
is that
The
what
Morning
it's called?
Show.
She's great. She's really, really good.
Yeah.
And Steve Carell is really, really good. I think they're both great TV stars.
They are.
I don't think they're movie stars.
Yeah, and that's, by the way, that's fine.
That's fine. Most people are movie stars.
By the way, Michael J. Fox is like, first of all, Back to the Future, super fucking rad. I'm not, once again, not shitting on Michael J. Fox, but he's a really good TV star.
Yeah.
Like, some people are just good TV stars, and I'm like Jennifer Aniston. I'm like, she doesn't need movies. Just do awesome TV shows. You're really good at it. Anyway, for the Marky Mark part, apparently they were also talking to Dennis Leary.
That would have been interesting. He would have been good too.
Yeah. he could definitely, throw the F-bomb around.
Yeah.
And what else? Do you have a favorite Scorsese movie?
Wow. What are yours? I do love I love Goodfellas.
Yeah.
I can watch Goodfellas anytime. It's as crazy as that movie is. I super love it. The King of Comedy is a great movie. I'm trying to think of
I haven't seen Goodfellas in a really, really, really long time.
We might have to do an episode on it because it's really interesting.
Yeah,
it holds up.
How could we
Casino
even do it?
Is a great movie.
I'm like, how could we even do it justice? Because it's
well,
such a movie. But I never saw The Wolf of Wall Street either.
That's bullshit. I hate that movie. It's so
okay.
You talk about toxic masculinity, and no, I can't with that one.
Maybe we should do Goodfellas and Wolf of Wall Street.
No, because that'd be like 12 hours. I can't. No, we gotta do one or the other.
Okay. No, we shouldn't even do Wolf of Wall Street. I've never seen it before.
No.
What would I? No.
No.
I honestly, I don't know what my favorite is. I mean, this one is The Departed is super rewatchable, but I always go back to like Taxi Driver is fucking fascinating to me. I think Goodfellas is fucking fascinating. And they're all good in different ways, but the one I would watch again is like something like The Departed or Goodfellas or Casino is super rewatchable.
Very good.
Color of Money is super rewatchable, and that's not even like a high caliber Martin Scorsese.
No, but that's a really good movie. Like Gangs of New York is when he started to lose me. It's like I just I didn't care about the characters. Yeah. Cameron Diaz is the turn of the century prostitute. What? With an accent? What?
It's like, yeah. I'm wondering like how many more movies he's going to make.
How old is he?
I mean, he's up there, right? I mean, he's
in his 80s, right?
He's got to be in his 80s. At least. Yeah. I don't want to do math. Don't make me do math.
No math. And
then let's see. Oh, do you want to hear some of the other movies of 2006? We've never done 2006 before.
I know. I was super excited. Yes, go tell me.
Okay, we're going to do top 10 movies of 2006. Number 10, Happy Feet. It's an animated movie with penguins that I watched one day with my son, and I was like, what the fuck is this movie? It's really weird. I was like, this is a dancing penguin movie. And then there's like a point where like the penguin is captured and it's like in an aquarium and there's like people looking at it and it's kind of like real people, not animated. It's a weird movie, and it's directed by George Miller, the same guy who did Mad Max Fury Road.
Wow.
I know, weird. Superman Returns.
Who's in that?
That's the one with like Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. And
no.
That's not good.
No.
I went on a date to see that movie. Not with David, like this pre-David. And there was no second date, but I'm still friendly with that guy. And he's like, I'm pretty sure there would have been a second date if I had picked a better movie. I was like, there wouldn't have been a second date, but that's cool. You can blame it on Superman Returns if you want. Mission Impossible 3.
I like the Mission Impossible movies.
Me too. They're super fun.
Super fun.
X-Men: The Last Stand.
I don't know those.
I believe that's the third X-Men. I didn't really like that one. Number 6 is Cars.
Nope.
That one is like my son's favorite. He loves cars, but it's because he's like a 9-year-old boy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Shit's made for him. I never saw this one. Night at the Museum.
They're okay. I mean, honestly, they're like a movie. I can watch them, and there's like 3 of them, and I couldn't tell you the difference between them. But Robin Williams is Teddy Roosevelt in one of them. I like the Met Museum.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a New Yorker. It's like one of those, like I have that on and I can vacuum and dust and do projects and occasionally check in, but I'm not invested.
Yeah. I've never seen them. but it looks like that kind of movie to me.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Casino Royale.
I love that one.
That one was really good.
Really good. A lot of running.
A lot of running.
Running. That's what my friend Margo says. It's a lot of running in swim trunks. That's that movie.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm into it.
I'm all in. Yeah.
Is that the one where he like jumps on the train and it kind of explodes behind him, and then he like straightens his like sleeves on his jacket? Or is that in the second one? I don't remember. But I was like, damn, that's such a pimp move. What a stud.
He's a baller.
He is. Number 3 is Ice Age: The Meltdown.
I don't know. I don't have kids. I don't know any of these.
Dude, you're fucking lucky because the Ice Age movies are fucking shitty. I hate the Ice Age movies. They're so people love them. Love the Ice Age movies. I think they're super shitty. They love to show shorts from the Ice Age movies in front of other animated movies, and Calvin also hates them. So,
oh, thank God.
I know, but my nieces love them. Number 2 is the Da Vinci Code.
That movie is so disappointing, and I love Ron Howard. I love Tom Hanks, and then I had to remember the book wasn't that great either. So it's not even based. It's the book and the movie are way over the praise as far as I'm concerned. Yeah,
it was such a beach read. Like,
yes.
By the way, I didn't read it because I'm a shitty reader. But like, everyone I know was reading that book, and it like they were taking it like on the bus and BART and like at the beach, literally taking it to the beach and reading it. It was like such a thing. And then, but they were all disappointed by the movie, like every single one of them.
Yeah, they screwed it up somehow.
And then number 1 is Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest, which is that the first one? I'm looking it up. It's the second one.
Oh, okay. I like the first one. The others, like, they're just more and more disappointing to me.
Same. I also like the first one a lot. But yeah.
So do you want to hear some of the top songs from 2006? We haven't done this year before.
I know. This is exciting.
So the first one I'm picking is Gnarls Barkley, Crazy. Still a good song.
I love that song, and I used to say it all the time at work when people would say stupid shit, and I'd be like, I think you're crazy.
Pink, Who Knew? It's like one of my favorites that she's done.
I love Pink.
She's great. Amy Winehouse, Rehab. Aw.
Amy. That one hurt.
That one really hurt me.
Yeah.
Muse, Super Massive Black Hole. You'd know if you heard it.
Oh, no, I would know. I know exactly what song it is because it was in like I felt like it was in every like trailer.
Yeah.
For like TV shows and movies. It was a good song.
And the last one I picked was Nelly Furtado, Promiscuous. That's when she like kind of redid her image and stuff. I used to play it in my classes. It's a good song.
It is a good song.
Jam.
It was so weird though, because she was like before that. It was like I'm like a bird.
Exactly.
Like, sorry, everyone. I shouldn't sing. I was told again today by my son I'm a terrible singer. He's like, you're just not good at it, and I was like, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. She's so cute, and then it was like, nah, I'm gonna do the sexy thing now, and that song. But it's a catchy song.
Catchy as fuck.
Yeah. Remember when Jewel did that too?
Jewel work.
I know. Jewel was like, you were meant for me, like super guitar acoustic stuff, and it was like, now I'm gonna do sexy Jewel, and it's like, ugh.
She was such a thing for a while. Do you remember
she
that?
Was.
She was huge. Yeah.
I loved that first album because I was programmed to like it. Like, of course I liked it. Like,
it was like genetically engineered.
It was
for
like
us.
Yeah, it was like Lilith Fair soundtrack. You had to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when she did like I'm Sexy Jewel, it was like, not for me. What else are you dorking out about, Margo?
I have to say, I'm going to bring the intellect down a little bit, but the Real Housewives introduced a new franchise, a new city to the franchise, Salt Lake City.
This was on my list.
And it's fucking great. I'm super excited about it. There's a woman on the show. They had their premiere this past week. There's a woman on the show who is married to her step grandfather, who's 40 years older than her.
What the fuck?
She had a kid with him, and it was because she wanted to keep the families church, and it's like evangelical, you know,
It's so
talking
weird.
tongues. Like what is that expression I'm thinking of? But it's that
Yeah.
Pentecostal,
Yeah,
excuse
yeah.
me. And they have a bunch of restaurants that really make the money.
It's
And
so
she wanted to keep that money in the family. She had to marry her step grandfather and have a kid with him. She is introduced like 3/4 the way into the show.
mhm.
That's how crazy and wackadoo
Yeah.
everybody else is.
Didn't
Like she last one introduced.
didn't one of the I think it's Heather said, you know, "Hey, I love my grandpas too, but I don't want to marry them."
I love how, I mean, this is just, it's Mormon culture. And I got a little bit of it when I lived on the West Coast, but it's all like, I'm a pioneer woman.
Yeah.
I could trace my family back 150 years. Like, do you not understand the earth exists? Like people, like it's just pilgrims, like people who can trace themselves back to that. I'm
Yeah.
impressed. I'm like, okay, that takes some effort. You got to really go on ancestry.com and got to, look up some shit. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, but she's the one that's, that's divorced. Like, you can't get divorced in the Mormon religion. Like half of them are divorced, I
Yeah.
think. It's great. It's just, it's multiracial, it's diverse. It makes Salt Lake City look beautiful. I want to visit.
Mhm.
I love the snow. I love seeing the snow. That's fun to see. It's going to be interesting because they've had just, these casts have been very either white or black, literally.
Yes.
There's been not been a lot of diversity. I think they only had one was really with Miami. That was much more, but they that lasted a couple of years. Anyway, it's a super diverse cast, and it's a part of the country I don't really know well, and it's just with these, like I said, wackos,
Oh my
and I'm
god, they're
in.
total wackos. Like
They're crazy, and I love it.
it's snowing. It's like the snow and she's still like wearing fucking nothing with like a heel, like a spiky heel. She's like, "I'm wearing my snowshoes." I'm like, "Oh my god.
Bare legs.
You're all crazy.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm going to watch the
It's
show every week."
I know it's not intellectual. I mean, I get it. Like not everybody likes these things, but it's on Wednesday nights at 10. It's
Yeah.
going to be like my thing. It's just going to be, it's just like I take my brain, I put it on ice,
Yeah.
and I just let the art happen.
Yeah. These shows, I have to say, for a long time, they were not my jam. I was like, I'm not watching that. They would be on like when I would go to the gym. Like it would all back when I would go to a gym. Remember that when we could go to gyms?
Oh, remember?
Yeah. So Real Housewives or like Kardashians would be on. And so I never really watched it. And then I listened to your other podcast, Best Neighbor podcast, and I was like, well, I don't have to watch because they talk about it every week and I just like live it vicariously through your podcast. But then my friend Kate and she introduced me to New York when I visited and I started watching it. And I was like, oh, this is actually something I need in my life. So I'm slowly working my way through New York. But this one is the first one where I was like, oh, I can get in right at the beginning. So I'm really excited to like watch the show and like talk about it with you and listen to you on Best Neighbors talk about it in real time and be like, I watched that one too.
It's I don't know how to explain it to you guys. I mean, I get why you don't like it or you wouldn't be interested in it. I just find it super, super interesting. And
Yeah.
no, none of these women are people I want to. There's the one woman.
No, I don't want to be friends.
Impossibly thin, and she and her husband, they go for dinner. They just go to fast food places.
Yeah.
With
She's
her
like,
sons.
I don't cook.
Yeah.
I don't cook. I don't do that. Or then there's another one who's like, I renewed my wedding vows, and she's like, get me out of this dress so I can dance. And then like,
pole.
and then they cut to her like twirling around on her like stripper pole in her house, and I was like, oh my god. Which, by
so
the way, knock yourself out, girl, if that's what you want to do.
No judgment. Yeah.
You know, I think you mentioned this to me before when I started watching the New York one, which was, it is refreshing to see a show with women of different ages, you know, which we don't get like on most shows. It's reality shows or movies. Most things are for young people, and that's fine. And I'm not saying like we're super old. We're not super old. But to see people that are like a little bit older in a different stage of their life, not the beginning stage, is cool. It's fun. I like that.
Right.
I think the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City also is interesting to me because they all are actually, not all of them, married. So in that way, they
Yeah.
actually are like the housewives, but they all have side projects and things. And where I watched New York, and I was like, none of these ladies are housewives, really.
Well, there's called the Housewives Curse, which is that they break up marriages. A lot of people's
Mm,
marriages don't make it through the Housewives, and it's just being on television and it's just exposing things.
yeah,
I think these people have a better chance. I think also because they're in Salt Lake City, they're not in LA or New York. It's a little, you could be like local famous and still have a life.
yeah.
It'll
They're
be
not.
interesting.
They're not going to be on like page 6 all the time.
No, and I don't think they want to be. I think it makes Utah look really beautiful. Like I totally
Yeah,
want to go to Park City now or and check it out. And it's just fun. And it's just like sometimes you just need brain candy.
yeah,
I just need something to just watch and scroll on my phone and then
yeah.
brush my teeth and go to bed and not have to think about it.
Exactly. It's perfect for that.
Yeah.
It does remind me that one of my longtime dreams was to like go to Sundance and just watch the documentaries. I was like, I don't even care about any of the other things. I just want to see all the documentaries that play there.
I had a friend who was a movie publicist for Miramax. She's got stories. Yeah.
She must have so many stories.
I mean, yeah. But she was like working at Sundance. This is back in the day, like 15, 20 years ago when it was a big deal. It was so intense. Like you need ID to get into every single party. You had to have a badge. And do you know who Michael DeBars is? He's an actor. I'm trying to think of like he's English. He was in Roseanne. He was like Martin Mull's boyfriend in that. He's he was married to Pamela DeBar and she was the groupie that wrote the books.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. All right.
So he was in a movie that my friend was publicizing, and she told him, if you're going around Sundance, don't just show up. You have to have a badge and you have to be on the list for every single thing you want to do. So tell me where you want to go, what you want to do, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I don't need to do that, darling. I'm a celebrity and I will just, yeah, exactly. It's just like, he's walking around and there's Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and all these like really big names, and he just got kicked out everywhere.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, yeah, that was like I they used to have like Sundance Channel used to have the award. They had the Independent Spirit Awards or
Oh,
something.
yeah,
They would
yeah.
show. I know it was so like I wanted to go. So I loved independent movies and I love documentaries. I'm the same as you though. You would hear about these documentaries like, oh, it's going to be on HBO in a year. I'm like, a year?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
I mean,
I'm talking too much today.
now in our like Netflix time where we can watch all kinds of documentaries anytime we want, maybe the luster is worn off a little bit for me, but
Yeah.
I would still really like to go.
I just want to be there. I mean, it just looks beautiful. I love the mountains.
I just want to be anywhere.
Yeah. Oh God, no kidding. But I really want to be like up in the air. Like my sister lived in Lake Tahoe for years, and it's just like it's just your skin clears up.
Yeah.
You're just a little more awake. Maybe it's the lack of oxygen, just kind of that elevation. But my parents lived in near there, also in Sparks, Nevada.
Yeah.
It's like at 5,000 feet, and it's just like it's so lovely, and you chill out.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's beautiful
really
in
is.
Tahoe.
Yeah.
Someday we'll get to travel again.
We have to see each other again.
I know. Someday it'll happen.
Yeah.
I feel convinced it will happen.
Oh.
I feel it in my bones.
Well, the president's going to send out a vaccine. New York gets it last. Just
I
so
saw
you
that.
know.
He's such a fucking petty bitch.
What an asshole. I mean, yeah, petty as shit.
He's the fucking worst. Bye-bye, boy. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Good riddance. Margo, where can people find you on the internet?
You could find me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick. That's for Instagram and Twitter. And my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
And if you like the sound of our voices, we mentioned it a few times during our departed conversation, but we also do a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps, and then we end every episode with someone who's not a creep. And our most recent one is Whitey Bulger. Ties in very nicely with this one, just saying. So if you want to listen, please do. And you can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram. and I just posted a picture of me and my new orange hair.
It looks amazing,
Oh,
you guys.
you are so sweet. You are so sweet. I'm
she looks
reclaiming
incredible.
orange. I'm
Yep.
reclaiming it. And you can find Dorking Out wherever you're listening to your podcasts. You're listening right now. If you are on Apple Podcasts and you want to give us a review, a good review, that would be amazing. We would be so grateful. And if you want to email us at dorkinoutshow@gmail.com, we take requests. If you have certain movies you would love for us to dork out about, we love requests. If you want some stickers, email us with your address and Margo will send you stickers. They're really, really cute. Everybody drink.
Super cute. I just got a new bunch.
And you can find Dorking Out at Dorking Out Show on Twitter and dorkingoutshow.com. Not really on Facebook. But if you go to the What a Creep Facebook group, you can talk to people about dorking out there. They like to talk about it there. And this was super fun. I'm so glad that we did our Boston week.
This was wicked awesome.
It was wicked awesome.
It was a wicked pissa.